Hey, welcome. Today we're tackling something that surprises a lot of capable women. Not failure at the beginning, but hesitation right before we're successful. We've done the planning, we've done the work, we're almost ready to launch, and suddenly something slows us down. Sound familiar? So let's talk about the 5 behaviors that often show up right before a major breakthrough and what scripture and practical wisdom can teach us about moving forward anyway. Welcome to I Have Your Back, the podcast where we've built stronger lives, families, and financial futures one step at a time. I'm Pamela J. Vincent, author, speaker, and encourager of women who want to live with courage, clarity, and faith in the real world. So grab a cup of coffee, I've got mine, take a deep breath, and let's step into today's conversation together. Here we go. All right, women don't quit when things are hard. I'm sure you've all noticed, you've probably all experienced that. We don't quit when we're learning something new, and we don't quit when we're putting in the work. But a lot of us stall right before the finish line, right when the plan is complete, right when the project's ready, and right when the opportunity is sitting there waiting. Suddenly, we slow down for some reason. We start tweaking things that are already done. We start questioning whether we should move forward. We find other things to work on instead of the one step that actually launches the thing we've been building. It's one of the most fascinating patterns I see in capable, intelligent, hardworking women. We do 95% of the work and then we hesitate on the final 5%. So let's talk about why that happens. Because the truth is, it's not laziness and it's not lack of ability. Often it's something much deeper. Sometimes it's fear of being seen. Sometimes it's perfectionism hiding behind one more improvement. I know I'm guilty of this one big time. Sometimes it's that imposter voice that whispers, "Who do you think you are to do this? Maybe there's somebody better." And sometimes, if we're honest, it's spiritual resistance showing up right before something meaningful is about to happen. In Ecclesiastes 11:4 it says, "Whoever watches the wind will not plant. Whoever looks at the clouds will not reap." That's a good way of saying if we wait until everything feels safe and certain, we may never step into the harvest God has prepared. There are basically what I could find 5 behaviors that we often fall into when we're unknowingly sabotaging our own success. Maybe if you think of something else, let me know so I can dig in and research some of them. Let's take apart each one of them that I found and then their solutions. Many capable women plan carefully. They work hard, they move forward faithfully, until we reach the last step before the launch. And then, like I said, something changes. Excuses come up, confidence fades, or some self-sabotaging behavior. So the first one that I found is called perfection paralysis. And here's what it looks like. The project's done, but the person keeps saying, "I just need to improve one more thing. Let me research this a little bit more," or "it's not quite ready." Weeks or months can pass in perfection paralysis, and things don't get done. In Ecclesiastes, it reminds us, the verse that I just read, that if we watch the wind and we don't plant, guess what? Nothing grows. The solution for this, as much as I could find, is adopt this rule. Done is better than perfect. There's a saying in the writing world that I live in that says, "Don't get it right, get it written." God can't move a ship that's sitting still. So start and then redo as you learn to. My mentor used to say, "Just get it done." And that's what rewrites are for, is getting it right. So even scripture itself shows progress over time. God uses faithful obedience, not flawless performances. Number 2. Sudden busyness. I'm so guilty of this one, it's unreal. Suddenly those dishes and loads of laundry that I hate to do, that I've ignored, suddenly become a priority. So right before the launch, a person suddenly becomes busy with things like organizing files, cleaning the office, redesigning graphics, uncluttering the house, responding to minor tasks and stuff. They're all productive, yet none move the project forward. I have to remind myself to do one thing first thing in the morning that moves the business forward. I know as a writer, the hardest moment is letting go of a project, which means it's now open to criticism. The fear of people not liking it, or worse yet, not even noticing my work, is the things that slow me down from moving forward. If you own a business, there's the fear of it failing or spending money that we can't recapture. So instead of facing these vulnerabilities, the brain looks for a safe task. So busyness can be a distraction from the purpose. In Ephesians 5:15, it says, "Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity." I don't think sometimes that we look for every opportunity to be successful. We might think we do. So ask one question every day, assuming that you've done the work to the best of your ability. Instead of stalling, we need to ask, what is the one action that moves this forward? Number 3, second guessing the calling. Right before success, our doubts rear their ugly heads. Did God really call me to do this? Who do I think I am to do this? Maybe somebody else should do it, somebody better than me. This is extremely common among people who are conscientious and faith-driven. Doubt can cause us to stall in the middle of obedience. So let's remind ourselves, James 1:6 says, "But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt." So the solution to this, I discovered, is to know our why. Go back to our original assignment and ask ourselves, why did I start this? Who might benefit from it? And often the reminder of our purpose restores our courage to keep moving forward. Number 4, fear of success. I mean, we got into this to be successful, right? But now we're afraid to be successful. Before launching, everything feels safe. After launching, we can be afraid of more responsibility, higher expectations, greater visibility. Success and visibility create vulnerability. And fear is not the voice God gives us when he calls us to serve. In 2 Timothy 1:7, it says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self-discipline." So the solution for this is purpose shrinks fear, so shifts our mindsets from what will people think to who might this help. And I'm always fearful of having a gift, or I'm meeting with women who have a gift that stall before, and we start to think that it doesn't matter. Yet the whole reason that we started it, or that God has called us to do it, is that it does matter. Number 5 says losing momentum right before the finish line. And what this looks like is that our energy fades when the project is 95% complete. Our minds say, maybe I should wait. Maybe the timing isn't right. Well, maybe I'll launch next month. But often the truth is, breakthrough is very close. Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." The harvest often appears right after the hardest moment that we have experienced. So what's the solution to this one? Create a launch deadline and honor it. Faith sometimes looks like pressing publish while your heart's still pounding, or placing the open sign on the door while our hands are still shaking. Sometimes the last step feels overwhelming because it represents a big emotional shift, but the solution is simple. Shrink the step. Instead of thinking, I have to launch this whole thing, think, today I'll just take one small action. Like, you could hit publish, or you could send that email that gets things started. You could post an announcement that you're starting this business, or you could upload the podcast. Small steps create momentum. Proverbs 16:9 says, "In their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." So God often gives us one step at a time, not 10. And purpose quiets our fear. I actually have a grease board in my office, and I write down monthly goals. Because they're written down and I see them every day, and maybe the end of the month is coming near, I get at it to get it done. I get some thrill out of checking off these things. If you're like me, I strongly suggest that you have a grease board you can see every day. Or even I have a legal pad that I will put the day's things that I'm going to do, with the most important at the top. Now, number 5, we need to remember that obedience matters more than outcome. Many people hesitate because they want to guarantee success, but God only allows us to see the path, not the entire journey. We want to control the outcome, the audience reactions, the sales, the feedback, the day-to-day events, but our responsibility is not to control the results. Our responsibility is faithful obedience and do what only we can do and trust God in the process. In Galatians 6:9, it says, "Let us not become weary in well-doing, for at the proper time we'll reap a harvest if we do not give up." So our role is to plant the seed. God handles the harvest. If we find ourselves standing right before the finish line, let's remember these 5 things. Here's a short summary. Number 1, done's better than perfect. 2, take one small step forward today. And number 3 is focus on who our work might help. Remember our why. 4, set a launch date and honor it. 5, realize obedience matters more than outcome. Sometimes success is not about doing more. Sometimes it's simply about having the courage to take the next step and let God do the rest. Most successful people are not fearless. They simply take the next step while feeling nervous. And confidence grows after their obedience. We should say that again. Confidence grows after obedience. If you're standing one step away from something important today, don't let fear talk you out of the finish line. God didn't give us our gifts, our ideas, and passions so they could stay hidden in notebooks, folders, or unfinished plans. Someone on the other side of your courage may be waiting for exactly what you're about to release into the world. So don't rob them. Remember, your gifts have been given to you, but they're not for you. They are given to be given away to others. So take the step. Trust the process. Let God do what God does best. Here at I Have Your Back, we're building stronger lives, stronger families, and financial futures together. Be sure to go to the website, I Have Your Back, and find the worksheet on this lesson. And then sign up for our weekly newsletter and never miss a blog, a book discount, or a podcast. Until next time, keep moving forward one confident step at a time. Aloha.